Hello.
So you meant come right back. Got you.
Yes, come right back. I don't want you to forget I don't want to forget your thought process.
Um, cool. Well, I think I was in the middle of saying that like, oh, as you beginning to learn how to improvise, you should be, hey, mommy, my mom's
Uh,
on there. My mom's on there.
Aw.
All the way from St. John in the Bush.
Oh, wow.
Beginner improvisers, you should be concentrating on creating melodic material that clearly outlines the harmony, right? So you need to know
Mm.
what the harmony is. You need to know what your oh, my boy Ray. Ray's up. We went high school together. He's
Oh,
another one.
nice.
Yeah. People don't believe me when I say we used to catch a boat to school every day, but he can vouch for me. Um
Ray, vouch.
but yeah, you should be learning to make melodies that like clearly outline the harmony, right? So
Mhm.
that people could recognize the tune that you're playing. But like advanced improvisers, as you've been doing that for a while, then then you learn to kind of obscure that sometimes. Like maybe you want to create a little bit more tension than usual,
Right.
right? So there's a reason there's a reason why Louis Armstrong sounds different from Chet Baker, who sounds different from, these are all trumpet players.
Mm.
That sounds different from Freddie Hubbard, that sounds different from, like, all of these guys had different perspectives and they were from different times, different eras.
Right.
So they all kind of started to stretch that concept of like how often, like how much time in the tune do you want to feel comfortable, like
Hmm.
knowing for sure that it's happy birthday, and
Yeah.
how much time do you want to be like, what's this? Oh, okay, yeah, oh, yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
advanced musicians do these, they like to, or advanced improvisers, I should say, like to play kind of musical tricks on each other, right? Because at its core, the thing that makes makes us enjoy music, the thing that's enjoyable for humans to listen to music, is the setting up of expectations,
Right.
right? And then the temporary, like, delayed gratification, and then the release, right? Then the
Right.
the, the cadence, right? So it's just a matter of like how much time do you want to spend in that delayed gratification.
Right. Okay. So I can ask a question now since
Yeah,
we have extra time.
yeah.
Is ha- I'm trying to figure out the way to say this. It's a good thing.
Okay.
Is there a balance between how are you able to find the balance between family and touring?
Well, because I have a supportive wife.
That's good.
That's real talk. And I know
Hmm.
a lot of musicians that do this, that do this thing, especially before COVID.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, clearly it's not very
Yeah.
different. Now we have the opposite. We have the
Yeah.
opposite problem now. My wife is like, when are you going back on the road? You've been
That's
here too
hilarious.
long. You've been in the house. You've been up under me too. Um,
That's
but
funny.
uh, but man, seriously, this like having a supportive partner, you're in a whatever kind of marriage you're in,
Hmm.
having a support or relationship you're in, having a supportive partner is really fundamental.
Hmm.
Truly fundamental. Um, Having the support of family around us. So like my wife's mother lives nearby, right? So
Okay, that's good.
for a long time, if I would when I would go out on the road, if I was
Hmm.
gone for a couple of weeks, she would just take our daughter and go live with her mom for a couple of weeks. So
Yeah.
mom could help with, your grandma could help with the child and get her to school and do all the things. My wife is a professional. She's been in the public education system for 15 years now, I think.
Wow. Yeah.
She's taught reading and dance and all these different subjects.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, that's the kind of the bottom line is where my shortfall, wherever my shortcomings are, she's there to pick up the slack, is one. and
Yeah.
and two, being just trying to be as as conscious as possible of the fact that when I'm home, I'm all the way home.
Right.
You know, I'm
Right.
100% engaged in my child's life. I'm 100% engaged in my marriage.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 100% engaged in my friendships and my relationships because, yeah, in a normal year, I'll be gone for 2 weeks and then come back for 4 days, and then be gone
Right.
for 2 weeks and then come back for a week and then be gone for gone for a
Mm-hmm.
week and come back again. So,
Yeah.
yeah, having a support system around you for sure is
Yeah.
clutch.
Nice. I'm pretty sure your daughter appreciates that you're home a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Right now, for sure.
Yeah, right now.
Right now, she appreciates it, but she needs to be in class and behind the computer, and she'd be looking out the room like, "Daddy, do you want to play?"
Oh, that's hilarious.
Eventually, get to class.
That's funny. It's funny.
Yeah.
Um, do you have any advice for any upcoming steel panists or musicians that
Share.
are, especially during this time, during the
Yeah, it's
pandemic
like
and
to use your time wisely. Two things: use your time wisely.
hmm
But the counter to that, the flip side of that, is you know, don't. We've been in this pandemic what for 8 months now? Eight
it feels
years?
like
Feels like
it,
8 years. I think it's been
yeah.
8 months. And I'm just straight up. My productivity, my musical productivity has been basically zero.
Mm,
I have between the pandemic and the political situation in the United States and um the just horrid social justice system that we have here.
yeah.
The just it's been emotionally and artistically draining for me. Now,
Yeah.
so many of my contemporaries, so many of my friends, so many fellow artists, they took that situation, they took this situation, this pain that we're all feeling, and they turned it into art. And I think that that's a beautiful thing, and it's a
hmm
necessary thing. And I think that that's why we, that's why we exist, right? As
Right.
artists, is to
Right.
shine a light on the horrible things that are happening and to illuminate those things, but try to create some sense of beauty from it.
hmm
I didn't have that in me for the last 8 months.
Right.
My saving grace has been my students, like just being able to pour everything I can
hmm
into my teaching, into that situation. So I'm not beating myself up about that. And I don't
Right.
want you to beat yourself up about that either. If it's been eight
Right.
months and you haven't learned a new tune, you cool. Tomorrow is another day. Hopefully you'll be here, right?
Right. Right.
Um, but use your time wisely. Practice.
hmm
Be a master at your craft first and
Right.
foremost. And then master everything else, right? So
hmm
be extremely good at what you do. Be enjoyable to be around, right? Be
Yeah.
professional,
Yes.
um, and everything else will follow from that.
Mm.
Um, then you can get your social media chops up. Get your business chops up. Push yourself.
hmm
Um, but the first thing, at least for me, what do I want to hear? I want to hear you play. Can you play? If if you can play, then it's all good. But if
Right.
you're trying to do it the other way around, which is like, let me push myself, push myself, push myself,
Right.
but I haven't gotten the first part down, which is like, I haven't really practiced enough.
Yeah.
And it's cool because we're all developing. I mean, we're all on a continuum. I
hmm
haven't practiced enough. I haven't practiced. Yeah, right? Yeah. Hey, here we go.
Yeah.
We go get some witnesses tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, not that I don't think there's any such thing as enough anyway, but just be serious about your craft.
hmm
If this is something that you want to do, then do it 100%. Be prepared to fail, but don't be prepared to stop.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Um, yeah, and listen to the music that you want to play.
Mm,
So important.
very
You
important.
have to
Yes.
listen to, like, and if it doesn't exist, you have to make it. Like,
Yeah.
right? If the
Yeah.
music you want to play doesn't exist, then you're making it.
Hmm.
But you know, if you want to, you know, if you want to be a soca artist, then you need to be listening to soca all the time,
Yes.
all the time. If you want to be an R&B, if you want to play R&B, if you want to play gospel, if you want to play classical music, if you want to play
Hmm.
jazz, whatever it is, each one of these things is a vocabulary. They have their own vocabulary. They have their own language. They have their own accent. They have their own dialects.
Yeah.
And you know, to you have to be immersing yourself in those polka. Yeah, I told you. Yeah, man. Um, you have to be immersing yourself in those languages for it to come out of you, right?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. For sure. Yeah. Um, so I know we haven't been touching our pan very often, but do you have any like projects that you've been thinking about doing?
Yeah. I have several albums worth of material that needs to be
Okay.
recorded.
Okay.
Um, and it's weird, like I'm starting to just actually this week I started sending out, like getting music together and sending out music to some musicians to start working on a distance
Oh,
project together,
nice. Nice.
which will become probably the next recording project.
Hmm.
Um, but I also have, you know, I'm going to be working on some video things in the next few months. I have,
Can't wait.
yeah, I was the very gracious recipient of a touring grant from the Mid Atlantic Arts Foundation, MAAF, um,
Nice. Congrats.
that basically funded a tour for me that I can't go on now.
Right.
Right,
Right.
so we're gonna be doing some videos in lieu of that, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, just trying to, like, I've been doing more thinking. Like I've been trying to think and listen as
Mm,
opposed to like react, you know.
right.
Um, there was a when everything got shut down and, like, you know, we all lost work, we all lost gigs, we, you know, it felt like everything was falling apart.
Yeah.
And you just day after every day I would get a new email from another gig 6 months away saying you're canceled, right, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
um and then, you know, and at the same time there's you know, there's um you know, just police brutality situation,
Mhm.
the social unrest here in the States. And I said that this would be a good time for me to, like, just chill and think and listen to what, you know, listen to what people are saying,
Mhm.
especially people of color, because look at me, see me, I'm a white
Mhm.
man. So I don't know if you could tell, if you could tell on IG,
Yeah.
um, but I had nothing to say, you know.
Right.
There was no reason for me to be part of that conversation, was one. Um, and then watching, like, so many of my fellow musicians that are not, that don't have the fallback of, like, a teaching gig or, you know, some other kind of form of income,
Right.
that just got left behind, you know, that were
Mhm.
on Instagram and on Facebook and on Twitter and all the other platforms, like, daily, um, you know, with the Cash App in the corner, saying, like,
Yeah.
tips appreciated, you know, that kind of thing. I was just like, this, I don't need to be taking away any wavelength from that, from
Right.
them, right?
Right.
I don't need to be out there on the airwaves doing anything.
Mhm.
So this has really been a time for me to just kind of chill, listen, think. I've been thinking a lot about, like, what it even makes, what it means to even make a record anymore. Like, what does it
Right.
mean to make an album? It
Right.
used to, it used to mean all kinds of things. It used to mean that, like, people would listen to it or
Mhm.
people would buy it from you at your shows. But now we
Yeah.
don't have no shows.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now we don't have no shows. So then what
Yeah.
do you do? Okay, well now I guess now is a good time to like maybe do the Brady Bunch video thing that everybody's doing. But everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
And it's just
Right.
that's saturated now.
Hmm.
Everybody's doing online concerts now, and it's saturated now.
Yeah.
And so the other day I saw an ad pop up in my IG that was from a promoter, an online concert promoter, and the ad basically said like live music 24 hours a day, anywhere in the world. Sign up now. And I'm like thinking, man, that's this. First of all, there's no such thing as a live. There's no such thing as
Yeah.
online. There's no such thing as an online concert, in my opinion. There's no such thing because it's like if the purpose, if the medium is this, right, is
Hmm.
you viewing me on a device,
Right.
then I want you to view I want you to have the absolute best viewing experience. That means I want to do everything I can to make sure the music is at the highest level, the
Hmm.
presentation is at the highest level, the technology is at the highest level. Um, Gervais said, "What's the Brady Bunch thing?" Oh, the Brady Bunch thing is when you Gervais, hey Gervais, is when you get you get maybe like 10, 15 musicians from different places, different cities, or maybe the same city, but we can't see each other right now. So we can't go to a studio and record. So everybody records their part at home in their crib or like on the phone or whatever. And you shoot the video on your phone. And then you send it to one person and then they put everybody together like in a grid, like the Brady
Yeah.
Bunch. Um, but man, oh yeah, so I was saying that like I would want that presentation to be just perfection,
Right.
which is kind of the antithesis of a live concert experience. Like I go into I go into every concert with the understanding that something will probably go wrong,
Hmm.
right? And that's fine because this is a moment in time that will expire. And it's a moment for us to share common energy. It's a moment for me to share energy with the audience and the musicians to share energy with the audience and vice versa.
Hmm.
And when we play, that music goes out into the ether. It goes out
Right.
into the universe and you can't get it back. Right.
Right.
So short of, making a live record, which people do that all the time.
Hmm.
Again, if you listen to live records, they sound like live records. They have mistakes. They
Yeah.
have feedback. They have
Yeah.
people dropping fork and knife, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
um, that to me, it just seems to be a disconnect. Like if I'm
Hmm.
gonna put my stuff out there digitally, I want it to be, I don't want it to be like that. I don't want
Right.
it to be live. But here
Right.
we are.
Yeah. I mean, do what works for you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I've had
Yeah.
8 months, I ain't figure it out yet though.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. So, speaking of figuring out, have you learned anything about yourself
In the last 8 months,
in the last 8 months
um,
that you didn't realize prior?
I don't have as much self-discipline as I have always thought.
Oh, okay.
You Um, I mean, I'm a working musician, so that requires a certain amount of discipline.
Hmm.
But in other areas of my life, I fall extremely short. So I had quit drinking beer before
Okay.
the pandemic,
Yeah.
and
You're back on it now.
I quit quitting is what I did. I quit quitting. Um, when the pandemic started, I used to go out and walk around the neighborhood. Just be like, yeah,
Right.
I'm a walker. I'm staying healthy. I'm getting fresh air. And the further in we got, the less
Yeah.
walking I did. And now it's about to be winter time,
Hmm.
and there will be very little walking happening here. Um, so yeah, I think I should have, I suppose I should have known that about myself, but I think we all have these kind of grandiose ideas that, oh, if you know what it is, it's the thing that we always we tell ourselves, like, I'm busy.
Mm,
I'm so busy. If
yeah.
I only had, if only I had like an extra hour in the day. If only I didn't have to commute. Like my commute when I'm teaching, my commute is over an hour each way,
Oh, wow.
right? So I
Hmm.
used to spend well over 2 hours a day in the car, and I used to think like, man, if I didn't have those 2 hours a day, I'd go to the gym, I'd be getting ripped, I'd be like the healthiest 40-year-old man in the world. Nah,
Yeah.
none of that's true.
No. Do you think you'd do that now since
No,
winter's coming?
no,
No.
no. I think it's
No.
the opposite. I think I'm gonna do the opposite. I think it's gonna get worse. I'm gonna just drink
Okay.
more beers. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm with you there. I'll drink with you.
I wish I could. I'm gonna try to. I have a system that I
Hmm.
only buy. I only, and then we can move on to a more constructive conversation. But I have a
That's fine.
system that I only buy as much beer as I'm going to drink in one day. So I just go and I buy a couple beers, and then I take
Okay.
them home and I drink them, and then that's it.
Okay.
And then I do the same thing the next day.
I'm like, your system might be better than mine, but no.
Um,
That's too funny. Um, I
Javi
don't.
asked something. Somebody asked something.
Yeah, something about. Have you been home to St. John or
Oh,
traveled at all?
yeah, no travel, no travel,
Yeah.
no travel.
Can you travel to the next state? Can you
Yeah,
guys do
well, I
that?
mean, yeah. So, well, I teach in the next state. So I live in Maryland. I teach in Virginia.
Mm,
So we drive. Um, we can drive, but I mean, the I have to be very conscious of the well-being of my family,
hmm.
of my wife and my daughter. So, you know, what do you do? Even if you drive to a next state, where are you gonna stay? You gonna stay in an Airbnb, somebody's house? You
Very
stay in a
true.
hotel.
Yeah. Very true. Yeah.
For a
Yeah.
while, my wife and I were kind of like thinking, well, maybe we get oh, she just joined. Rach353, RACH353. That's my wife, Rochelle. She's
Hello,
also
wifey.
she's a she's an incredible photographer. You all should follow
Oh
her.
wow.
She has amazing pictures.
Definitely
Um,
follow.
yeah, she's dope. But we thought, well, maybe we'll get like a little Winnebago or like
Hmm.
one of those little campers or something like that.
Yeah.
And as she was gun ho too, she was like, "Yeah, that'll be good. We get a camper. We go out to Assateague. We go out to the shore, wherever, go
Yeah.
to the beach." And then and she was like, "Well, where do you use the bathroom?"
Outside. Gotta go outside.
Yeah, I don't know.
Dig a little hole.
I think these campers have like a bathroom in them though.
So, some of them do. Some of them do.
Yeah, I think that's really the only thing. Yeah, Arturo
Yeah.
said, yeah. See, I think that's the only move that we can make
Yeah.
right now is just like a camper and get going.
Hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about yourself?
Nah, I don't care. That kept you so long after you probably. I see
All right.
you looking
I
sleepy.
I've been tired all day.
I'm kidding. You look amazing. I'm joking.
Thank you.
Um,
Your wife is watching, so watch your words.
yeah, right. Just mean
Wife,
you look amazing for another woman.
thank you, thank you, thank you. So, since your wife is on, maybe she has a question that she could ask you.
Who? My wife? Nah,
Yeah.
you don't want. You don't want.
Oh, yes, we do.
She's not going. First of all, I think she just logged on and then she put the phone someplace else. She
Oh,
just did
okay.
that. She just did that so that I could see
Uh,
that she's paying attention. But she not really logged. Rachel, are you logged on? Rachel, are you logged on?
so, how long? Oh, see? Do you have a question for your husband?
When are you coming to bed?
It is getting late there. Um, got a link for Henny.
You don't know, Carl. You don't know.
How is it teaching virtually? Although you answered that earlier, I don't know if you want to answer it again.
Yeah, so it was earlier. I was saying that it's not as bad as it could be for me. I'm
Hmm.
having a relatively good experience. And I think my students that are virtual are having a relatively good experience as well.
Hmm.
Um,
Uh,
yeah.
sorry, I wasn't sure if you're done. Papa has a question. Have you ever played in Panorama?
Yeah, I played cowbell with Arima Angel Harps in 2019. Aviel Scanterbury, big up.
Nice. Just like how was that? How's the cowbell experience?
Well, you know, I was one of several cowbell men, and I was
Okay.
playing the softest.
You're supposed to play loud and proud.
Nah, you know the cowbell is like the most important let's say
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
you
Loud and
can't just
proud.
go in a band and be like, I want to play cowbell. Like there's a cowbell man that
Yeah.
walks with a cowbell in a bag, a leather purse that walks to every rehearsal. And that's his gig. So I wasn't trying to step on that. No, but seriously, in 2019, um, Avios Canterbury, who's a great player and a
Hmm.
wonderful young arranger in Arima, was finishing his studies with me at George Mason University.
Okay.
And he was instrumental, him and another one of my graduate students, David Singhouse, were instrumental in helping to develop a short tour. Not a tour, but we went to Trinidad for prelims and we played semis with in medium band with Arima Angel Harps.
Mm.
And so I had, you know, I brought I think 10 students or something like that, and
Nice.
they all played pan. You know, they all went to the rehearsals every night.
Yeah.
They learned the tune. I wasn't doing all that because I had to keep my eyes on them, so I couldn't be like learning music and then also be a
Right.
professor. You know,
Right. Nice.
are you like me crying because Kyle hasn't touched your pan in 6 months? It's getting rough, bro. It's getting rough. It's
Yeah.
getting rough. Bree says, I know you're also a pianist. Do you perform gigs on piano in addition to the steel pan?
Good
I would
question.
not call myself a pianist at all. I mean, I play functionally, right? So
Hmm.
like I can play chords and kind of accompany my students. And I always write at the piano. So when I'm writing
Uh,
music, I always do it at the piano. But I would never gig on piano. No, no,
okay.
I'm not.
All right.
There's
All right.
way too many great piano players. Do you think more jazz should be introduced in Panorama?
I was gonna ask that question.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I guess it depends on. Well, first of all, it's already happening, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
It's definitely already happening, and I think I think it's inevitable.
Hmm.
Um, the I mean, the aspects of jazz that I think would be kind of most um, most easily kind of superimposed, um, would be harmony, like kind of harmony and melodic phrasing.
Hmm.
And arrangers have been doing well. First of all, arrangers have been doing that forever, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
Um, we're not going to ever be in a. I mean, Panorama is not the venue for like improvisation. So that's not going to happen. But I
Hmm.
think when people ask questions like that, do you think that there should be more jazz in there's this argument about um, whether panorama music is kind of stuck or if it's moving forward or where's the dividing line between like too contemporary, like not appropriate for panorama and too cliche. Like I heard
Right.
this chromatic line a million times now in every panorama. um and I think the truth is that like panorama is a musical competition, but it's a competition that takes place in the context of a specific culture.
Hmm.
And music changes constantly. Constantly, music is constantly changing, right? Constantly
Hmm.
developing, constantly recycling and redeveloping. And the culture does not Culture is kind of the opposite. Culture changes very, very slowly.
Right.
So when you have a musical competition in the context of a particular cultural institution, those two
Mm-hmm.
things are going to book, book, book. Those things are gonna kind of bounce, you know.
Right. Right.
Oh, that's
Um,
what Gervais said. I heard you install cabinets for fun. That's another thing that people that's another fun fact. I did all this. I did all this myself. I did all my floors and
okay.
yeah, yeah. I
Look at you.
house made this house.
Someone had a question earlier. Do you have any gigs booked for 2021 or
Yeah,
potential gigs?
but I think they're all online.
Ah, okay.
I think that was Gervais. Gervais, I'm supposed to play at Manchester Craftsman's Guild. I'm supposed to play at MCG in Pittsburgh
Hmm.
in March, but we got to see if that's gonna be a thing, a live
Right.
thing, or a you know or
Hmm.
an online thing.
Right. Well, you can do what they're doing here in Edmonton. They're having live concerts, but have everyone spread out.
Yeah,
So
I
that
mean,
could be a thing.
yeah. That's I think that just the indoors thing, kind of in general, for me,
Hmm.
the indoors thing in general is still kind of iffy right now, man. You know,
Right.
we're spiking again. The whole United States is just spiking again. There's
True.
48 states are have
Hmm.
increasing counts. So
Yeah.
with like everything else, I mean, somebody called me, my friend Dion Parson, a great drummer, who is the um, kind of the co-leader of the 21st Century Band, who I play with. All musicians from the Virgin Islands, from St. Thomas, that make a living as jazz musicians, right?
Right.
So come together like Voltron every now and then to put a band together and play. And he's calling me about some possible gigs overseas.
Mm.
And I was like, man, like I'm available. I can make it.
Yeah.
The calendar is clear, but who knows?
Right.
Who knows what
Right.
that's going to look like?
Right. Well, hopefully things get better.
I hope so.
Hoping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it will. It's just
Yeah.
a matter of when. It's a matter of when and what is, how much damage will be done when it's all
Right.
over.
Right.
There's the top like 1% of artists are going to be cool, right?
Hmm.
They're going to be fine because they're living on residuals and royalties, and they don't need to play concerts.
Yeah.
The bottom 10% of artists have already started doing something else
Hmm.
because you have to, right? You
Yeah.
have to feed yourself,
Yeah.
and there was no unemployment check coming for us, right? So
Right.
um, it's those like kind of mid-level career artists
Hmm.
that are, and not just artists, but like the entire industry, right? So
Right.
people that work in lighting, ticketing, set design,
Hmm.
sound design, production, everything,
Yeah.
concession, all of those people
Yeah.
are the ones that I'm just like, how many are gonna come back? How many venues are gonna reopen?
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
And are we really seeing the beginning of a total paradigm shift
Mm.
into virtual, like maybe the next thing probably is virtual reality concerts, not virtual concerts, virtual reality concerts.
I could see that happening.
Yeah,
I could see that
it'll be a
happening.
thing soon.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Sooner than we thought. Yeah. Um, Before we go, because I kept you here long enough, I feel like your wife is going to be mad at me. I don't want to.
She'll be
I
mad at me.
appreciate.
She won't be mad at you. She'll be mad at me. She knows
Okay.
I'm the one doing the talking.
Oh, okay. Well, I appreciate her letting you come on the show. Is there any other advice you want to give any musicians out there before we go?
No, I think I gave it.
No? You gave it all? You gave it all? The
Yeah,
pool
I gave
noodles when you
enough. I
travel,
mean,
the
yeah,
GPS in your case.
yeah. No, just be on the instrument as much as you can, man.
Hmm.
There's no magic pill. There's no exercises that will get you better faster. There's no specific way of practicing that will, that will get you better faster.
Mm-hmm.
People kind of email me all the time and say, can you send me some, can you send me some exercise? So how can I, how can I improve this? And I can, I send stuff, the things
Mm-hmm.
that I'm working on because I'm working on them too.
Right.
But the bottom line is you just got to be on your horn. You just got to be on the pan. You have to be on
Mm-hmm.
your instrument. So, this is this instrument here. It doesn't hurt to play.
Right.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
instruments that are physically painful to play. This one doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
You play as much as you can.
Yeah.
Um, and love what you do. That's it.
Amen. Well, I'll let you go. So again, your wife doesn't get mad at you.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for coming on our show. We'll definitely look out for your future projects and anything else you're coming out with. Any one-handed playing, we'll be watching.
Then next time is no hands. Next
No
time,
hands?
nah, chicken in one hand.
That I would love to see. I would
Yeah.
love to see that. Thanks again. I want to thank everyone for watching and hope to have you again soon.
For sure. Thanks. Thank
Awesome.
you. Congratulations on this platform you got going. It's
Thank
amazing.
you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
See
All
you
right.
next time. Bye, everybody.
Yes, everyone have a good night.